Looking forward to upgrading your mobile play with 5G this year? With blazing fast internet speeds and its features, from uninterrupted streaming to enhanced gaming, you probably won't be disappointed. But what about the telecom sector itself? What's in store for it in 2023? The outlook for the telecom sector may be that the ongoing 5G rollouts will deflate the industry's recovery with regard to returns on invested capital. Return on invested capital, or ROIC, is a metric that is used to assess a company's efficiency when it comes to allocating capital to profitable investments. The year 2023 will likely be defined by competitive 5G rollouts, delays in tariffs reaching adequate levels, and a battle for premium smartphone subscribers. This is the assessment of a recent JP Morgan report on the 2023 outlook for Indian telecom. The report points out that Jio has turned its focus from entry-level to premium subscribers, which is likely to deflate pricing at the premium end and lead to the return of a more competitive pricing regime. Jio's shift, which is meant to drive greater monetization in 5G, will likely mean higher capital expenditure for Airtel as it tries to defend its share and competitive pricing for 5G plans, which will then lower its free cash flow and return on invested capital. Free cash flow means the cash a firm generates after factoring in cash outflows for supporting operations and maintaining capital assets. The JP Morgan report also sees hesitance on the part of telcos when it comes to going in for tariff hikes. This is because consumers are unlikely to support tariff increases amid the prevailing inflationary environment. Meanwhile, telcos are focused on onboarding 5G customers. The upcoming state elections in 2023 and the 2024 Lok Sabha polls may also delay tariff hikes. According to a Jefferies report, there is greater uncertainty on tariff hikes in the near term because the large capacity creation, thanks to 5G, will shift the focus of telcos to increasing utilization. The focus on increasing market share will also rise amid moderating data subscriber growth and Vodafone India's worsening situation. On the other hand, in the longer term, average revenue per user, or ARPU, in India could rise at least 30% given the country's low ARPU per capita GDP ratio. ARPU is the average amount of revenue generated by each active user over a given period of time. The report also says that Jio will favor higher tariffs before its potential IPO in either 2024 or 25. The Jefferies report also indicates that 5G is unlikely to drive up ARPUs without tariff hikes, and that its rollout would lead to higher network costs and selling, general and administrative expenses, which could prove to be a drag on the margins of telcos. Overall, the JP Morgan report says that the combination of higher than expected capital expenditure, delayed price repair, and a lack of 5G monetization should halt the sector-wide recovery with regard to return on invested capital. In fact, it expects the situation in this regard to either decline or flatline over the course of the remainder of FY23 all the way up to FY25. As a consequence, JP Morgan has downgraded Airtel from overweight to underweight. A Bank of America Global Research report also recently said that more pronounced competition and higher capital expenditure would be the challenges in 2023, while downgrading Airtel to underperforming from neutral. The third player, Vodafone India, also continues to face headwinds. A government official recently said that its promoters were unwilling to infuse adequate capital into the telco. As a result, the government felt that converting the accrued interest on deferred adjusted gross revenue dues into equity had become unviable. The promoters, Vodafone PLC of the UK and the Aditya Birla Group, are reportedly willing to infuse up to 3,000 crore rupees into the telco, while it needs around 45,000 crore rupees for sustaining itself. The source cautioned that it would be difficult for the telco to get external investors in the absence of promoter funding, and added that even banks were unwilling to support the company under such circumstances. In 2021, the centre had cleared a relief package for the financially stressed telecom sector to prevent the industry from slipping into a duopoly. As part of the package, telcos were given the option of converting part of their interest dues into government equity, and Vodafone Idea had opted for it. All of this raises the question, will the recovery that was underway in the telecom sector continue in 2023 and the coming financial year?
The recovery in FY24 will continue from a top-line perspective, but if you were to look at the overall margins, I think there is going to be significant pressure on the operators. Where the stress is going to come from is because all the operators have spent significant amount of money in terms of 5G rollout, and we're seeing a large number of cities where 5G rollout has happened. The 5G rollout is really not helping give a boost to the top line of the operators. It is not adding to the overall ARPU from the subscribers. And hence we believe that all the operators are going to be under pressure when it comes to the overall ROI. I think in the next 12 months, the overall capex investment by the operators is going to be very, very significant. And some of the reports have suggested that over the next 2-3 years, it's almost 120,000 crores that are going to be pumped into the sector. Hence, obviously, there is going to be a challenge in terms of cash flows. Operators will have to identify means to be able to pump in that kind of a money into the system to be able to roll out the networks.
The Supreme Court's decision on the AGR issue created a huge liability for private telecom players. It posed a huge threat to their cash flows. Fortunately, the government's relief package has helped with relieving some of that pressure. The telecom sector otherwise has actually been doing rather better. The ARPUs have certainly increased quite significantly. It's true that the subscriber numbers have fallen a bit, but that could easily be misleading because given the rising price of telecom services, a lot of people are now keen not to have multiple SIMs. The issue for the telcos and for the sector is the sector's revenues. And those revenues are increasing, not decreasing. And I think that should give us some comfort about the health of the telecom sector going forward.
As part of its recommendations for the upcoming budget, the sector is reportedly batting for a reduction in levies, including license fees, and seeking a tax credit refund of 32,000 crore rupees to enhance its financial viability. While the government weighs the merits of these recommendations, it must at least consider that the objective of its 2021 telecom relief package will be lost if it fails to stick to its stand on converting Vodafone Idea's interest dues into equity. It may be a good starting point to secure the sector's future.
If you like this video, share it and subscribe to Business Standard. For more news, views and insights, log on to www.business-standard.com. Do also follow us on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Telegram and LinkedIn.